in it was 2003, 2004. I got a job working on the other side of town in a sales organization. And sitting next to me, there was just the two of us in this little office, was this young man. He was a pastor. And ended up telling him a little bit about my story. And he said to me, you could probably use some deliverance ministry. Well, of course I could. Um, One of the things about being a satanic ritual abuse survivor is that it's spiritual abuse. And one of the things that I needed help with was getting free of all of the demonic. And so, um, this young man, his name was Charles, he helped me to find some ministers to help me to get free from the demonic related to the satanic ritual abuse and the memories. And ultimately, he introduced me to a man named George. Now, at this point, I was 40 years old, and I had been in and out of therapy for 19 years. I had been working with different deliverance ministers for, I don't know, 3 to 5 years at that point. And I was kind of at the end of my rope. I was like, if God doesn't heal me, I'm not going to make it. I knew that I had thousands of alter identities. I had so many parts I could not control or maintain. And I really wanted to live a life for God. I wanted to be a healthy parent and a good wife. And despite all of my efforts for all of those years, it was 14 years at that point that God finally stepped in. And so this man, his name was George. I called him Joseph in my book. I did change names to to protect people. I went by the name Katie to protect myself. But George began to minister to me not just as a counselor, but as a prophet. And he began to do a combination of inner healing and prophecy. He could see the little wounded parts of my heart. And one of the first things that he did was minister to me on the day I was born. He said, on the day you were born, you split. And the trauma just accelerated from there. And so George started working with these tiny baby parts, and I started healing like I had never healed in all my life. I had worked with all these therapists. I had uncovered hundreds of memories. I had a spreadsheet with over 200 memories in it. But now what God was doing is he was healing my broken heart. And suddenly parts were integrating and demons were flying, and George broke Freemasonry for me, and I started miraculously healing. And I thought, wow, Lord, this is incredible. I was working with George for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months. And I remember he began to prophesy to me. And he said, Katie, he called me Katie because Holy Spirit called me Katie. He said, Katie, you're going to do a 360 today. And I thought, Mom, I don't know what that means, but okay, let's do that. And that day, George started working. He was working with groups of parts inside my system. And he'd say, okay, Katie, we've got 60 of them here and we've got 30 of them here. And he would bring these parts to Jesus, and Jesus would miraculously heal and integrate them. And at that time, another baby memory came up, and I started sobbing and crying about the loss of another baby. And George said, when you're ready, we're going to give this pain to Jesus. We're going to give this baby to Jesus, and he's going to heal you. And sure enough, God did. By the time we were finished that day, 360 parts of my broken heart were integrated back in. And that was the 360. It was a complete turnaround. It was 360 parts. And I have to tell you, I have never been the same. It was another miracle.